Blessed light of God, exquisite perfection, eternal oneness, to accept in this moment that nothing else is true, is the healing of the heart, the healing that radiates into every beloved. Accepting your holiness, as you accept holiness, perfection, and innocence, the you of identity fades away. the you that has believed that there was a struggle, a battle, a problem, a difficulty, a mountain to climb, and time that needed to be conquered. All erroneous beliefs that can disappear in any moment that you accept that they mean nothing. As you are willing to remove the meaning that you have given to the world, light reveals itself. The light, the love, the peace, the harmony that has always been right here and is everything, but isn't available to be recognized because all attention is on a separate world, a separate existence, a separate identity. The healing light is in your yes. And as you embrace this yes, you begin to realize that the healing light is all that there is. Light is healing. Light has no opposite. Light is all of the universe, all creation, accepting. In this moment, begin by surrendering this day, surrendering what you thought you knew about this day, everything that you thought happened, everything that you thought was outside, everything that you thought was good or bad or right or wrong, difficult, easy. Everything surrendered in this moment. Giving the day into the hands of God. Truly, truly wanting to relinquish ownership of this day. Not because this day has been frightening, not because this day was unsuccessful, but because you don't want anything in separation. You want to embrace the peace and joy that was every moment. And in this moment, the willingness to surrender the future into the hands of God. And that you're willing to rest, relax, trusting that if the future is in the hands of God, everything will unfold in perfect harmony. trusting, allowing, accepting. And in this moment, the willingness to accept that there is only this moment. Everything that you have attached to of how things should be, were, could be, will be, should be, everything's surrendered. Embracing this moment. Being here, truly here. And accepting that there is no place else to be. Whatever the mind wants to focus on that isn't just here present in love is a fallacy. Bringing all attention to the divine, the yes, the heart. And in this moment, the willingness to surrender everything that you thought you knew about humanity and the world into the hands of God. Willing to see through the heart and to accept every beloved as the holiness of God. Everyone that you have ever known, everyone that you will ever know, everyone that you have held as a separate role of any kind, all surrendered into love. No longer holding ownership of any perceptions. Willing to rest in the peace and tranquility of God. Breathing. Breathing fully and deeply with all intention and all attention. Bringing all focus to this moment, forgetting about what the mind wants to focus on, but bringing all attention to the heart, letting go of the mind and the attention to the body as a separate self, bringing all intention and attention to the breath. The holy breath, breathing as one. And in this holy breath, you are releasing all separate holding, willing to melt and join in the union of love. Breathing. Breathing deeply into every cell, bringing the breath into every molecule, every cell, and saying with your heart, wake up to the truth of holy breath. Not holding anything back in the breath, trying to be in control of the breath, but letting it be deep and full. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And as you breathe in through the nose, inviting in the light and letting go of everything that has been held, letting it all go through the out-breath of the mouth. And resting. Trusting that you are held, that you are loved, that you are love itself. And now breathing deeply into the throat, into the neck, letting the neck go, allowing the throat to open, available to receive love. Breathing. Breathing into the shoulders, arms, and hands, letting go of all holding that has been unconsciously being attended to by the mind, but now willing to let it all go into the hands of God. Surrendering the doer, the knower, and just willing to be. And breathing into the spine, surrendering the spine into the hands of God. Inviting the spine to be surrendered into the hands of God. The spine be the liquid of love, moving easily and effortlessly, flowing in love. And breathing into the heart, inviting the heart to come forward, open and available, exposed, undefended, not willing to hold anything in restriction, defense of any kind. Breathing. And affirming with the breath into the heart chakra that love is being undefended. Breathing. Breathing into the belly, surrendering the belly and all of its organs into the hands of God. Everything to be used for love. Everything to be the light, filled with light, filled with peace and harmony. Breathing into the hips and thighs, knees, calves, ankles, and feet, all being surrendered into the hands of God. Not wanting to keep anything separate, not wanting to keep anything as a separate identity. Everything's surrendered. Breathing. And breathing into the emotional body, willing to surrender the emotional body into love, to be used for love. No longer willing to have the mind running the emotional body. Willing to release all beliefs of fear, caution, suspicion, tension, anger, resentment. Everything of fear released into love. And breathing. And willing for the emotional body to be the expression of love, to be used as the expression of love, to express harmony and peace and joy and compassion. Breathing. surrendering all the energy bodies into the hands of God. Open and available for love, as love. And continuing to breathe deeply and fully, focused in this moment, affirming that here in the infinite circle of love we are one. This sanctuary is filled with love. Only love exists. There is only one presence here. It is the life force of God. And within this life force, we live and move and breathe in complete equality, in union as one. Breathing, affirming there's only one heart and one breath. This universe is all of love. Breathing. And allow this prayer to fill your heart with devotion and a renewal in the moment of your yes, of what you truly want. And that the recognition here is that we cannot remember and come home alone. We have to bring every beloved with us, seeing the light of every beloved, seeing the truth, the innocence and purity of all of humanity. Come along, brother, let's go on this path of light and love. Come along, sister, let's go on this path of light and love. With our father and our mother, and letting all pain go. Let us pray and work for this goal. It's the task of our lives. I see the Spirit, I see my soul, I see the light in me. As my heart opens like a flower, I become the living God. I create and I am created within the oneness of all. I create and I am created within the oneness of all. I create and I am created within the oneness of all. This is the true path of love, to see and to accept and to embrace the oneness of all, and that no one is an exception. No one is different. Every beloved is the divine. And it is through this acceptance that the heart opens like a flower, and recognizes the living God that is within. Never without every beloved coming with you. I'm going to focus all my attention where it is truly helpful, on the sun, on the moon, and the stars, on the forest, the earth, and the sea. I am here walking the path of love, where we affirm love, where we say yes to love, only love. And this love, this eternal love, is so pure that not everyone can speak of it. It is the light that comes into the heart for purification, to remember the truth. The eternal love of God is a light, a marvelous light that is always shining, that shines in the shady forests and is always present if the heart can open to recognize this light. This is a call to hold in trust that the light of love is always present and can be embraced and can be in everyone's awareness with the yes of I am willing. Vou ligar o meu pensamento só onde eu devo ligar. No sol, na lua, nas estrelas, na floresta, na terra, no mar. Esta estrada que estou andando é a mesmo que mestre andou. É a estrada de Jesus Cristo, onde nós afirmamos o amor. O amor eterno tá pura, que nem todos podem falar. O que me leva-nos nas alturas para nos purificar. O amor eterno de Deus vive nas matas sombrias e o mar luz maravilhoso que ilumina todo dia. It is a marvelous light that is always shining. But it is the heart that sees this light. It is the open heart that steps into the awareness of the brilliant light of love that is always present. Opening the yes, letting go of what is going on with the mind, all the strategies, letting it all go and coming back into stillness and letting the heart open, no longer wanting to be defended in any way, and recognizing that there is nothing to defend. You've never gone anywhere, you've never done anything, there's nothing to prove, nothing to win, just the acceptance that all is love, all is peace, all is harmony. So as Hafiz again offers love through words. Someone untied your camel. I cannot sit still with my beloveds in chains, even in the perception of chains. I cannot act mute, hearing the world's belief of loneliness crying near the friend's heart. My love for God is such that I could dance with Him tonight without you, but I would rather have you there. Is your cavern lost? It is if you no longer weep from gratitude or happiness, or weep from being cut deep with the awareness of the extraordinary beauty that emanates from the most simple act and common object. My dear, is your caravan lost? It is if you are no longer kind to yourself and loving to those who must live with the sometimes difficult task of loving you. At least come to know that someone untied your camel last night, for I hear its gentle voice calling for God in the desert. At least come to know that Hafiz will always hold a lantern with galaxies blooming inside, and that I will always guide your soul to the divine warmth and exhilaration of our beloved's tent. You're always being guided, if you are willing to be guided. It takes great strength. It takes great courage to put out your hand and be willing to be guided. To accept that you don't know the way and that there is love, divine love, that is willing to lead you. I cannot sit still with my beloveds in the belief of chains. This is the compassion of love that wants to speak only the truth, that wants to express only the truth. This is the same love, the same devotion that Hafiz speaks of in the teaching. I do not want to look on any object in this world without seeing the truth of my beloved. I don't want to anymore look on anything without that heart yearning to only see the innocence, divinity, and beauty in every beloved. I cannot sit still with my beloveds in the belief of chains. I cannot act mute, hearing the belief of loneliness crying near the friend's heart. This is love, recognizing that you are so near. You are so near the heart of God. You are actually in the heart of God. But even the tiny veil that you believe constitutes a whole other world is just this thin little veil of deception. And you're right there. Right there. And all of love wants to pull you in. Always wanting to pull you in. You don't have to struggle. You don't have to believe that there is a battle in any way. Love is always pulling you in if you'll come along. Come along, brother, let's go. Come Come along, sister, let's go on this path of light and love. It doesn't say the path of destruction. It doesn't say the path of thorns. It says the path of light and love. The ego fear would like to believe that you have to do battle, that you have to do battle in the perception of journey. And we've all walked in that belief of battle. But the nourishment, the drink of water is, oh, I don't have to battle. I don't have to keep looking for what's wrong. I can say yes. That only love exists. And that every beloved, including Hafiz, will always hold the lantern with galaxies blooming inside. That's the light. The mind tries to conceptualize the light of God, and it's not possible. It's not possible. But you can open to the light because you are that light. It's just a melting away of what is made up. The acceptance that nothing happened. Love didn't go anywhere. Love never left. But only humanity wandered off into a belief of separation. In any moment, you can just rest. If you choose to rest the mind of what it knows, peace follows. Peace reveals itself. You are that peace. But the only thing that stands in the way is what's going on in the mind and what the mind is communicating through the body. It says, danger, I don't like this. Or, I like this and I want to hold on to it, what I think I know. Because I believe that it gives me something. Because I've been working so hard at proving worth that I don't seem to be able to get off the wheel of proving. But you can. You can just step right off. By no longer proving any accolades, any hip hip hooray. In the stillness, all things quietly fall into place. How is that possible? Because everything is actually already completely in place. And when you enter into the stillness, which means your mind not knowing, filled with thoughts of separation. When you step into the stillness, that resting, you open to the awareness that everything is in place. Just not what you thought with the mind, that everything was out of place. That everything was what you thought it was. It's the funniest thing that the mind does, that the ego does, is that it convinces that you can figure this out. That you can actually figure out love. That there must be some formula that you can put to it, that you can figure things out. And it's such a habitual battleground that it seems perfectly normal to keep using the mind to try to figure things out. Because you don't know another way. But yet love is calling you to another way. Love is calling you to stillness, to resting, to trusting. Resting. Resting the mind is so completely simple, and yet seems to be the battleground of all battlegrounds. Because it's so tenaciously habitual. It like links into itself. Once you have one thought, 100 are right behind it, wanting to, oh, let's have all these too. And this is so much like any addiction. The arrogance of addiction, and arrogance is just fear. That's all that it is. But the arrogance of addiction, and you've all heard this before, the arrogance of addiction says, I can have one cigarette. I can have one shot of heroin. I can stop anytime. It's like the joke, I can stop anytime, I've done it 100 times. But I don't really stop. And it's not about white knuckling. No, I'm not going to think about anything. It's resting. Resting in God. Resting. That you are loved, that you are held, that you can sink into that stillness. There's a beautiful teaching that says, go into the closet with God. What is that, to go into the closet with God? It's to eliminate the closet. It's dark in there. It's dark. It's a little sanctuary where everything becomes focused, and you can enter into the stillness and focus and commune in oneness. Come home to the friend that is within. This is the calling. Now, the funniest thing happens when you want to open your heart, and you can be in your heart open-hearted, undefended every moment, because that's your natural state. That's love's natural state. To be just a heart, the heart. And to be that heart, the mind has to go away. And the heart leads. And the heart is filled with awareness. The heart merges and comes home to the totality of love. Nothing separate. Nothing to be separate from. And not possible to conceptualize. Only the mind conceptualizes. And only the mind can conceptualize with what it already knows. You can't come up with new concepts. Try. There's even a trying that says that there are beloveds who come up with new concepts, like Stephen Hawking or Einstein. So there's hope for us all that we can come up with new concepts. But these aren't new concepts either. It's to let all the concepts that have come from the past go. And what does that look like in your everyday life, to let go of the concepts that have come from the past? It means that all of these concepts from the past, you are projecting onto everything that you think is happening now. You're seeing everything through what you believe about what you've known about the past. You have nowhere else to glean from. So every idea that you have, every concept of something, you are pulling up from the past. And of course then, it's not a happy moment. It's not a moment filled with joy, because the past is saying you are separate, you are without, and you are doomed to die. And none of it is true. The truth of love is right here. It's right here, right now. There's nothing of love that's not here. But when you are in your concepts, you're not available for the right here, for the love that is right here, for the beauty and grace and perfection that is right here, the peace, the harmony, the joy. Everything is right here. Nothing's hidden from you. All the hiding is in the agreements that say, I know. And one of the greatest distractions is the belief of right and wrong, the belief of good and bad, likes and dislikes. Those are tempting distractions that keep affirming that there is something to pay attention to and something to control or be knowing of that you still have to figure out. And there's nothing. Imagine if you would if you would have it in your heart that you are no longer willing to interfere with the truth. It's just interference. It's like static on a radio. You can't hear the music because there is interference. And the interference is your mind. The interference is what you think you know and what you keep wanting to pay attention to rather than the music that is right behind that interference. I will no longer interfere with the truth of love. I don't want to interfere with the truth of love. That's a leap of faith, because the mind wants to say, the ego wants to say, well, I don't know that. I don't know that there's music there. I don't know that there's something behind this interference. And I don't even want to see it as interference, because I'm very attached to what I know. And yet, love is constantly present. Constantly present. So what is one of the areas that seem so righteous in the world? Over and over and over again, everybody kind of comes back to the same thing, which is relationships. The relationships with the world. And the belief that everyone that's in the world is separate from you. And that you have a relationship with everyone in the world that is coming to you as evidence and the need for some kind of protection. There is no one in this world to be protected from. There's no one that can harm you. No one can harm you. If you accept that you are the divine, the truth of God, the beauty, the perfection, the eternal light that can't be touched, that can't be diminished, that can't be changed. So no one can harm you, the truth of you. No one can alter the truth of you. But here's the funny thing that happens, is that because love is a continuous movement, a circle, unending, if you believe that someone can harm you, then in that belief, you are believing that you are separate and without, and you believe that the other is separate without, and that you're not one, and that God is not true. I mean, that's what the ego keeps affirming over and over and over again. And then there's fear. I will not interfere with the truth is really saying, I want the truth. I want to bathe in the truth. I want to give everything into the truth. I just do. I used to say a prayer, and that prayer was, take everything that I have made up in the belief of separation. Take it all. When I first began with that prayer, the ego really resisted that prayer. I could feel the fear, I could feel the shaking, I could feel the no, that was trying to grab hold. And I had to. It was like jumping off the edge. I had to declare, take everything, heal everything that I have made up that is not the truth of love. I don't want it. I don't want to dance with it. I don't want to entertain it. I don't want to live with it. I don't want to believe in it. I don't want to give my allegiance to it anymore. I don't want to trust it. I don't want to know it. I want it all dissolved. I don't want it anymore. And I don't know what it all is. So this is the leap of faith, because I didn't have a clue what would be left. I was putting my faith in God, in the truth of oneness, in the teachings of all the masters that had been sent. I was putting my faith there, my trust there, and I didn't know what would be left. I didn't know whether I would explode from the inside out, whether I would melt into a puddle. I didn't know if there would be anything left of what looked like this world. I didn't know. Take it all. Take it all. Because I have to have faith. I have to trust that the masters that have been sent to me, that this beloved, known as Hafiz, was not lying, was not a thief, that he was not telling lies to deceive beloveds that are wanting to come home. That I trusted that the one that was known as Jesus did not come and walk on this earth as a ruse, as a sham, as a scam, as a game, as a lie. And that all the beloveds who had in the past had encounters with the Blessed Mother, and that I had had encounters with the Blessed Mother, that was a figment of imagination, that was a lie, that was false, and that the beloved who came as a teacher named Jose, that he was not there to scam humanity, that he wasn't there as a liar, as a deceiver. I had to put my faith in these beloveds. I had to put my faith in the beloved that showed up as Ramakrishna. That I could feel the vibration of those teachings vibrating through this body, and that I would trust that, and that I would surrender to that, not to them as bodies or identities, but to that truth, to that faith that when Jesus whispered in my ear, it was not to deceive, that it was divine correction, that it was the truth, and that I wanted to surrender everything that I had made up in my own deception. And that the deception was in my believing that I was separate. And that the liar was the ego that said I was unworthy of love. And that it was not true. And that I was promised that I had never left God. That I had never left the truth of love. And that the I could melt into that truth and remember. And I put all my chips on that. And everyone eventually puts all their chips on that truth. But the other thing that's happening while you're putting all your chips on that, while you're putting all your faith in that, while you're accepting the truth that's been offered to you, is that you are trusting that love is real, that peace is real, that there is freedom, that there is a state of heaven, heaven on earth, and that it isn't a ruse, it's the truth. And that eventually every beloved will recognize they don't care how they get there. Just get me there. Might as well be the easy way of yes. Some beloveds to choose to go the hard way of battle. I certainly walked that for a while because it was more familiar. But when the way of peace was offered, why not? It's much easier to come into letting go through happiness and through thank God we're not condemned. Thank God we've never done anything. Thank God we are innocent. Thank God we are the worthiness of love. It's so much easier to come home through that than it is through the belief of sacrifice, the belief of hardship, the belief of spiritual life has to be difficult. It doesn't have to be difficult. There's no difficulty in God. There's no difficulty in love. All the seeming difficulty is on this side. There's nothing that's difficult. I'm always reminded when I hear the word difficult, I always hear the voice of, on the TV show, Sanford and Son. When the lead character would say, "This is the big one. This is the big one." And that's what the ego loves to do. This is the hard one. But that's all made up too. That's just part of the strategy of making it a big one. When the more that you rest and let go and trust and just be, through that stillness, love can be revealed. I can't tell you how many times, as I was being held in the bookends of I rest in God and I need do nothing, and I was really held there, over and over and over again, I would have to come back to, oh, that's right. I don't have to do anything. I just have to rest here and let love show me the way. Let love reveal what's most helpful, because I don't know. I don't know what anything needs to look like. I don't know what anything is for. I don't know how to walk this way in this world and find my way to love. I don't know. But I'm never without the means to find the way. And the means are, if you're willing that every sacred teaching, whether it's a teaching from Hafiz or a teaching from Jesus or a teaching from Ramakrishna or Buddha or Krishna, it doesn't matter. Are you opening to those teachings and letting them lead you? They will lead the way. The answers will always be there for you. Always, if you are asking the question. But if you know, then there's no question. If you already made up your mind about what you know, then you're not questioning. You're knowing. And it's essential to be able to discern which is which, so that you can begin to put your attention to what is truly helpful in questioning. Show me the way. I don't know. But I want to be shown. And when you want to be shown, the light of love will always show you. Now, here's the other tricky part of that. The ego likes to grab that and immediately have a conclusion out of what the guidance meant. So let's say your car breaks down and you're standing on a street corner. And you don't know why you're there. But there you are. The mind just wants to come in and say, oh, this means this, and this means this, and this means this. I guess that wasn't guidance. I guess I wasn't being loved because the car broke down. But if you can open in that moment and trust that there is a divine teaching right there in that moment that is available, it will be revealed because you're available. If your mind is saying, oh, I'm late for work, this is really a disaster, now I'm really going to be screwed up, and this is going to cost me more money, and this is this, and this is this, and this is this, there's no availability. The truth is right there, but the interference, the static of the mind is taking all your attention. Can you stop and just ask in that moment, show me the way? I don't know. I don't know what this moment is offering me, but there is always an offering. And I'm willing to accept that offering. I want to commune. I want to open that communion and be shown the way. What if your car broke down and you were standing on a street corner and you had a deck of tarot cards? And you pulled out the deck of tarot cards, could be any kind of cards, but let's say they're tarot cards. And in that moment, you went, I want to be in that communion. I want to open to what this moment is. And you pull a tarot card, and God speaks to you through that card. And maybe the card says, patience is the way to love. Can you enter into that patience of that moment, which is trust, and really surrender that moment? Surrender everything else and just breathe and stand on that street corner and accept that you are loved, that you are held, and that there is nothing out of order, that everything is in perfect harmony for your remembering, and that the Spirit of love is using everything in this world to serve your remembering if you surrender everything into the hands of God. Everything. Do you believe you can plan for your safety and joy better than God? So this is a question that is important to investigate within. Do you believe it? If you believe it, that's where your faith is, and that's the world that you will continue to experience. That you can plan for your safety and joy better than God. You have to believe that in order to keep walking in that direction and to keep wanting to know what you know. And yet your heart is wanting joy and ease, but it's a mistaken way to believe that you can plan for everything of joy better than God. You need be neither careless or careful. You need merely cast your cares upon God. Surrendering your cares. Surrendering what you know into the truth of love. All of every day is your school. Totally your school. How are you using it? How are you wanting to see the truth? Wanting to see the truth of every beloved, to see the truth of every situation, to see the love that is within everything, and not what you have believed in a moment before that, of what you know. The easiest temptation, one of the easiest temptations, there's a lot of easy temptations, but one of the easiest temptations is if someone else, if that other person in my life would be different, I would be better. And this is such a place of pain. If that other person would be different, I would be better. Let's say you work in an office and you'd have to talk on the phone with other beloveds, and you believe that if everybody will cooperate with you, life will be better. The difficulty in this is that everybody is thinking the same thing. Everybody is thinking exactly the same thing. The other beloved that's on the phone with you is thinking the same thing. If she would just, or he would just cooperate with me and do it my way, everything would be fine. I'm the one that knows how it should be. And this is this is a place of pain, because you can't see the divine. You can't see that there is a divinity, a beauty, a perfection, if you are willing to let go of what you think you know and how things should be. That's where all the pain is. Completely. That's where all the pain is. I had a beloved several months ago that called that wanted to tell me everything that was wrong with the beloved that they were in partnership with. He was not satisfied through this connection. He wanted so much to be right about what he knew about this other beloved. And he wanted someone to agree with him. But it always has to come back that it's always what you believe you are seeing in someone else is what you believe. It's what you believe about yourself. It's what you believe about the world. And that beloved is just reflecting your beliefs, nothing else, completely. And that is one of the biggest leaps of faith in the world of believing that there are big leaps. The yes, but of that. Yes, but. I'm pretty sure if they would change, I would feel better. As a matter of fact, I'm staking everything on it. Now, this beloved was not available yet for the peace of the heart. That this was an opportunity of healing, that it wasn't coming from outside. Everything that you see is what you believe. Everything. When you are seeing through the mind, through perception, everything is what you believe. You can't see it any other way. You can't. This is why in the world, everyone is pointing the finger at somebody else. Everyone is the cause of somebody else's misery. And the healing that is available is that the past has to be healed. Because that is what you're seeing everything through. Everyone that you have believed in your past, colored, changed, ruined, altered in any way the truth of who you think you are. Anyone in your past that you have believed changed you, affected you. Every single beloved from the past has to be brought into the truth of forgiveness to be set free. You cannot have a different future without the willingness to surrender being right about the past. It's not possible. And every beloved that you have a relationship with now is reflecting the past. You can't see them as the divine because you're putting images on them of your beliefs of the past. And how is this possible to be healed when it seems to be so cellular of who you are that you can't define who you are without that old identity? That you believe that you were made out of that past. That it colors everything about you. It's through love. To truly want to love. Love, which is forgiveness of everyone of the past that you have ever known, that you are willing for them to be released from the belief that you know who they are. Because it holds you in the same identity with them. When you hold someone as anything but the beauty and perfection of God, it is how you see yourself and how you see everyone in your life now. Now, the funniest thing that humanity does is we seek out others to prove us wrong and bad again, but all at the same time we hide that and we think, no, this relationship's going to be different. This relationship is going to take me out of that old identity. It's going to save me. But in that belief of that projection onto another, that this one is going to be special and save me, no, it doesn't matter what they do. You're still carrying the same identity. They can't change it. They can't alter it. They can't give you anything because you're still believing in an identity of unworthiness. You're believing in an identity that is damaged and without. And so then the beloved that has been believed to be going to be the one that's going to save you and change everything, that beloved then becomes the betrayer because they can't give you what you're really looking for. They can't. It's here all the same time. There's nothing that's not here of the truth of love. You're whole and complete, but you're not aware of it because the identity of the past is coloring everything. That's why the journey of remembering is so held in the call of forgiveness. And forgiveness is that washing away of a mistaken identity. Oh, I thought I knew who you were. I thought I knew what you were all about. I thought I saw in you evil. I thought I saw in you bad intention. I thought I saw in you unlove. I thought I saw in you deception. I thought I saw in you a thief. I thought I saw in you a liar. I thought I saw in you horrible things. And I was wrong. Not wrong as in condemned. I was mistaken. I wasn't right. I made a mistake. And that mistake I have been holding as my belief that I could could prove I was right, that I was damaged, that I was unworthy of love, that this self-hatred that is within is justified, that I am what our agreement was, and that you are what our agreement was. And whoever is sanest in the moment, is called to remember love and to surrender being right. No longer willing to be right about what you thought you knew about anyone. And the willingness to accept every divine blessed teaching that there is no evil in anyone, that there is no badness in anyone. They may believe that they are evil. They may believe that they are bad. They all believe, all of humanity believes that they are unworthy of love. And they act out that belief of unworthiness, just as everyone does. But none of it is true. None of it. And to accept that is to accept the truth of love, the eternal light, the eternal truth of oneness that cannot be changed. That is the firmness that I so often call you to, is to accept as deeply as possible that there has been nothing done to you that has changed the truth of love. But in that acceptance, everyone has to be set free from complicity, from condemnation, from identity of the past. And everyone that is in your life which looks like present time is more of the same reflection, more of the same agreements. And whoever is sanest in the moment is called to surrender that and put your faith and trust in the purity of love, in the innocence of love. This is radical. This is completely radical. It goes against everything that the world has agreed with. Absolutely. But do you want to remember the truth of love? That's radical. Absolutely radical. It doesn't have any resemblance to the world that's been made up. There's no resemblance. Because in the world, everyone is believing in separation. Absolutely. They may not be aware of it. They may not be in touch with that. But everyone believes that the world is separate and without, and that there is scarcity. Everyone. You can find agreements every day, every moment, in anyone that you want to. But everyone that is called to love and called to remember is called to stand firmly in the truth of love and to want to only gaze upon the beloved, and wants to no longer confirm the belief of separation and to confirm the belief of lack and to confirm the belief of fear and loss and death. You're being called to stand in that firm truth of love and accept that every master that has walked this earth was not deceiving, but was offering truth. And that every being of light is wanting to guide you in every moment. Every being of light, seen or unseen, is wanting to guide you into the truth. And that you just keep affirming, I don't want to interfere with the truth. I don't want to say anything, I don't want to think anything, I don't want to do anything that interferes with the truth. I want the truth to lead. I want love to lead. There's an element that is extremely helpful to recognize. There are no thoughts that you have of separation that do not affect everyone. When you believe that you are in your own mind and that you can just do whatever you want in your little mind with your little thoughts, this is a fallacy, because those thoughts are transmitting all the time and joining with others that believe in separation, and the chains around the beloveds are tightened with every thought that you have of fear, of pain, of suffering, of revenge, of comparisons, of lack. And this is not a condemnation, but to recognize that your thoughts affect everyone. And to no longer want to hold everyone prisoner. That you have the power within you by coming into your heart of setting humanity free, of offering love, and unlinking the chains of the belief of separation. There were a couple of questions that came from beloveds, and there is one that speaks to this. So this beloved asked, please talk about gossip. Well, we all have a concept of what gossip is. It's like when two people are sitting there talking. Did you hear about? Did you know? When I was walking in the seeming journey and in the shamanic path, there was a teaching in one of the prayers, the hymns, that talked about the mail of bad news. And this was part of the healing, because in the world it's a natural, it seems to be a natural thing that you carry. Is, we might not call it gossip, you might call it information, you might call it, I think you need to know this. And I want to be the one that delivers it. But every time you carry information about someone or something, what are you promoting? What is it for? It's an area that is very full of an opportunity of healing. Because the urge to want to tell someone else something is usually for the purpose of feeling better about yourself. So you're looking outside to be affirmed of your worth. Or sometimes, in a more blatant way, it can be that you will feel better about yourself if you are carrying something about somebody else that affirms that they are not up to snuff. They made a mistake. And you feel better because they made a mistake and you didn't. So you think you look better because, or you feel better because they are less. But it doesn't matter what it is. It's that need, and what is that need for? What is it that you're trying to get from it? Does it serve love? But that's true of everything. Does it serve love? Is there something intrinsically wrong with the words? No. It's the intention, always the intention behind it. If you said to someone, so-and-so got a new car, not bad words, not incriminating, but what is it for? Do you want to be the carrier so that you will look better? So you will look like you know something that somebody else didn't? It's a very subtle level. It can be a very subtle place that is wanting self-satisfaction, that is wanting to have an element of control, an element of power, a perception of power in carrying information about something, about somebody. Sometimes it's helpful. Sometimes you're called from the heart to share something with someone. But there's an element of, if you use, would I be saying this if this beloved was present? And would I be asking permission to carry the story of someone else to someone else? Is it mine to speak of? Am I really being called to speak of it? This is all the surrender into the hands of God and the willingness that I don't know what would be most helpful, but I'm willing to be shown what is most helpful. Now, this beloved was asking about gossip, but it's not any different than, let's say you live with others in some way, partners, doesn't matter how it is, children, whatever the situation is. And you want to tell someone what you did that day, like, I did the dishes, I did this, I mowed the lawn, whatever. I did this, I did this. What is that for? What do you think you're getting from that? Is it to prove your worth? Is it so others will think highly of you? Is it so you're saying, I do more than you do? Is it, what is it? What is it for? That is the questioning of the intention that's running the show. That you don't want to be a slave anymore of a trance that is constantly trying to prove worth. Or let's say you buy something, and your impulse is that you have to show somebody what you bought. What is that for? Is it to justify that you bought it? Is it to prove your worth? Is it to have a conspiracy of we feel so much better when we buy something?
Mm.
And you want to make sure that somebody else feels the same way so that you feel okay with it? It's all about letting go of the intentions of getting something from the outside or controlling the outside and making a little world of your own, instead of everything is whole and perfect in this moment. What will serve love most helpfully in this moment? How can I serve love in this moment? How can I really trust that everything is in divine orchestration and I don't need to change the trajectory of anything? And I don't need to prove anything. And I have nothing to say about someone else. I don't know what buying a car for that other beloved, I don't know what that's for. Am I giving it meaning? Wow, pretty impressive. They bought a new car. What does that mean? Does it mean something to you? If it means something to you, then it's to really look at it and see what is the meaning of it. You've given it all the meaning that it has. And is it really serving love? Is it helpful? Does it take love and elevate it in its true worth and its true light? Is it serving love? Another beloved asked. She started with that when she was in her 20s, she had the experience of being showered with miracles, and that she thought that they came without her doing anything, that she just seemed to be constantly blessed and miracles opening. And then her mind started to expect them without the awareness of their true nature, or what she was aware of. And that she has been on a path that says that miracles come from a balance of grace and self-effort. Well, those may be the words that were used, but it's really how it's perceived. There really is no self-effort in miracles, but there is participation. There is a yes. That is your willingness to open to the divine transformation and grace of the moment by letting go of what you know. So you might say that that's effort. It is participation. And it's the willingness to participate and expect miracles. Miracles are totally ordinary, and they are totally transformation. Revelation is a miracle. When you are aware of the truth, when you open to the truth, that's a miracle. And it's your yes that is facilitating that miracle. When you see a beloved and you are willing to see their holiness, when you're willing to see their innocence, that's your participation. You're not doing anything. It's not an effort. It's just the willingness to let go of what you think you know. And the willingness to see the beloved, to really see with your heart. And that's how the miracles are moved into manifestation. You're saying, yes, I'm willing. Now this beloved who had all these miracles in her awareness when she was in her 20s, we don't know the purpose of those miracles for her journey of remembering. We don't know why the Spirit of Love would have opened those doorways for her to be aware of miracles, except that it opened a doorway for her that she recognized that miracles were possible and that she could accept those miracles. But then the ego comes in and tries to still steer life and still manipulate how life is going to be, and then the door kind of closes because we're not available anymore. we're not participating. We're holding our life separate. And then we're not available for the miracles that are constantly available. The miracles never leave. The miracles don't go anywhere. It's like love doesn't go anywhere. Miracles are love. Love doesn't go anywhere. But we can close those doors when we're believing in something separate and being without. So this is a call to participate in miracles, to open your heart to the yes and truly want, be willing that miracles are natural and that you're willing to step into that transformation, that revelation of divine grace and collapse time and see through the truth and see the blessings and see in grace what is truly here. So in this moment, the willingness to accept the power of miracles, the willingness to accept transformation, the willingness to step out of what you know and into the divine grace of healing, love, harmony, peace, and joy. As we close, opening to the grace and harmony in this moment, the willingness to extend that grace and harmony of your open heart to every beloved, and to continue to open and extend that love and grace to every beloved. Just the willingness. And in this moment, opening to the grace of a quiet heart connection. And as we close, gratefully accepting the abundance of love that is always present. And in this moment, we gratefully accept the abundance of love that is offered through all donations that serve that this path can continue and open for all of humanity. As the heart says yes.